Welcome to the Random Encounters Show. I'm Deathstalker 5, being joined by
Steve Crompton.
Back for our weekly table talk. I'm not alone this week, so I know the Random Encounter Army, they've been waiting to see when Steve's going to join back in. And we're more than happy to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we got a lot to talk about because we haven't caught up in a very long time with all the crazy projects you have going on in the background.
I've been busy.
That's it. So, but before we jump in, one thing I wanted to say, Steve, is I know on behalf of the Random Encounter Army, we definitely salute you because you were here from the beginning. Now that we're over a year in, we hit 900 subscribers today. Hey, that's not bad. But we're over a year in and you've stuck behind us. You've sponsored shows and stuff. So we definitely salute you, sir.
Well, happy birthday to Random Encounters and Deathstalker 5. If it's been a year.
Okay. I think everybody knows who you are. Legendary comic book illustrator, artist, author, novel author, game designer, illustrator across many, many, many formats and fronts. Did I miss anything?
No, nothing.
A film director, sort of. Film director, producer.
Well, that's
sort
true.
Of. Yeah.
Sort of.
So too many hats. You wear the black hat, but you've got 1,000 hats.
I have many. I really appreciate you inviting me over today. It's great to see you again and be back on the Random Encounter show. So,
hey, it's fantastic. They're going to get tired of my ugly mug before too long. I'll have a riot on my hands.
I haven't yet.
So let's talk a little bit about your projects. I think one of the big ones that's been softly announced, at least in the Facebook groups and stuff, is we're looking forward to another Monsters iteration. I believe 2.75.
Yeah, that's going to be for our big Kickstarter. What we're going to do is coming up in the near future, as soon as we could launch it today if we just are kind of getting some sort of technical things sorted out in terms of setting up things for tax reasons. But once we get that done, we're going to launch the Kickstarter. It's for the Crystal Caverns solo, and we're also doing a wire-bound version of Monsters, and it's going to be Monsters 2.7. So I'd love to show you the cover. I'm going to try and see if I can share this. All right, and I'll show a couple of covers here and stuff. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
All right, there we go. I'll try it.
Prepare for the journey into the unknown.
All right, well, I'll start. Here's the big. This is the cover to. This is the new cover to Monsters 2.7 edition. So similar to the old cover, but it's got, you get to see the. You get to see all the the. More of the creatures from Zimralla in it. And that's kind of what we're doing with this, is that Zimralla is now a bigger part of the world of Monsters. That was only the vaguest of ideas when we came out with Monsters, that we might have to do a new world, So now we've done that, we've incorporated into it. So, and also Ken's writing a bunch of expanded spells and weapons and more detail about factions. He's also including, first time ever, house rules for Monsters. So we're gonna see that. So that'll be kind of cool.
That'll be something awesome. And from what I understand, this is going to be a complete divorce from Troll World and now fully into Zimralla.
Yeah, there'll be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, with the caveat that some of Troll World does appear in Zimralla.
That is true, yes. And there'll be some references to Troll World as well, here and there, for sort of like, characters who said, I used to live there, or creatures that say, oh, they came from there. So there'll be some of that. But really, the emphasis is all on the new world, Zimralla. What we have here are pages from the Crystal Cave Challenge. This is a solo, and it's also going to include a GM adventure like we did with Mission for Cat Goddess. And these are just some sample pages. We've got art by Simon Trantor, who is definitely one of the best artists in our stable of artists for Monsters. He does some amazing work. He did some stuff for some of the last of the Tunnels and Trolls books that we published, like Vaults of Horror.
Right, I recognize the name.
Yeah, and also for the Mummy's Treasure, which was the absolute last solitaire adventure published under the old regime. So
And that was a good one. That was a good one. Both of those were good. The Vaults of Kor and the Treasures of the Mummy Queen. Those were two great solos, but
yeah,
that's
they
getting
really
off
were.
topic a little bit.
They
But they were
were.
fantastic.
Andy Holmes wrote those, and then Ken wrote some of the solo material that went with them, and we did some editing and stuff on them. So we're really happy about that. And then we'll also include a set of standees and a new map. So it will also be just like we had with the previous Kickstarter, there's going to be a new map, big fold out map you can use. And then there'll also be another new set of standees, standee set 3, which will also include items, not just monsters. So there'll be a portal, there'll be treasure, there'll be armor or weapons, things you can find, so that GM can position them and sort of say, hey, that's laying on the floor and you can take it, kind of a thing. So
excellent. I'd love some terrain and items like that. That'll be a good bonus because we have a lot of standees and stuff. So I absolutely love it though.
Great. So that's that part of it. And then the other really cool thing about the Monsters book is that we're doing it. It's going to have a thick cover, and it's going to be black wire bound. So in other words, it's going to be spiral bound. One of the complaints people have about perfect bound books or even hardback books is that you really can't open them up all the way on the table and lay them flat.
Right.
So the wire bound books, if you're a GM, you can lay it right out flat on the table, and you'll be able to refer, to the rules and look at stuff really easy. And the kind of interesting thing is that we haven't published a version of Monsters like that since the early 1980s. 1980, 81 was the last time that Monsters, a version of that, was published with a spiral binding. So this is kind of a throwback to that, except we're using the wire version, which is more durable.
Right. Because the plastic combs are okay, but they really don't hold up over time.
Yeah, they get brittle and fall apart.
But I'm excited because I absolutely love spiral bound books, especially as a solo player and a game master, that I can just lay the book flat and then worry about other stuff on the table, and I'm not flipping back and forth.
And the other thing is that we've already published a soft cover version of Monsters 2.0, and we've published the hardback version that you could buy,
Dragon Skin
Monsters 2.0. So we thought, well, this will be a third format for people who feel like, even if you've already got, I've already got 2.1, 2.0, do I really need the other one? It's like, well, this is a wire round, this is a different format, so you can really use it for playing purposes, and it makes it, with a new cover, it makes it more, it gives it a different format because it's a wire round book, so wire bound book.
Yeah, and Monsters is growing so fast with Lair of the Leopard Empress. The Lovecraft variant that Thomas Pugh brought back from the old Sorcerer Apprentice magazine. Then there was the Arabor, the campaign setting, and others. I see it growing. Yep. And you just released another solo, Jungle Jeopardy.
Yes, yeah, well, that was really.
Yeah, you better make sure you talk about solos here. We got a whole army of solo gamers.
Yeah, we're trying to come out with stuff on a regular basis as best we can, and well, we came up with this idea to put out the Jungle Jeopardy book, and we just said, well, let's just put it out, and we'll start trying. Let's try and see if we can do it as a print on demand as well as a PDF, and so that's how we did it, and Ken got it written, and then I said, let's add some GM material to this. So Ken and I together wrote the back section of that, and we kind of added beyond the end of the adventure. The adventure ends with you get to the pyramid, which is more like a Mayan pyramid, really, not an Egyptian. Right. And it's sort of like, well, what happens after you get there? And I thought, well, let's give them, that's the end point. You can play the solo, and then you can kind of do the GM adventure as if, okay, what happens next? And this is your chance to do that. And we even added in the adventure, the GM adventure part of it, you have a potentially world-threatening danger where the demons have the chance to take over the entire Zimrallan world. And so
no pressure,
yeah, it really makes for an exciting adventure that you can run as a GM.
Yeah, I think Ken's having too much time fun with Zimralla because I'm really seeing his love of Edgar Rice Burroughs just coming through big time.
Absolutely. That was when we designed it, we sat down, well, what do we really like? What do we like? What do we have that we already have got a kind of a fan base for that we can develop? And so Ken really loved, the Tarzan, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Lost World kind of stuff.
And you're over there with your love of H.P. Lovecraft, and I see a lot of that coming through as well.
And then I've got, my comic book background stuff with the demons and the Egyptos and the City of the Gods stuff. So it's like
the novels too.
Exactly. So the idea was to merge that all together and see if we could, what kind of a world would that be? And so Zimralla is that world. There's touches of all of them there, and it gives it a really nice, as opposed to a typical fantasy world where there's orcs and trolls and ogres, and we do have that there, but in terms of major players, we have a whole new cast of potential characters. We've got demons, which have never really been part of the player character part of Tunnels and Trolls or Monsters. So now we've got demons, we've got ancient Egyptians, which has never been really part of the Tunnels and Trolls mythos. And a whole explanation for how they're there,
And you're even bringing in sci-fi elements.
Yes, yeah. We've got the curators, which are aliens. They're obviously sort of the tall greens who they're studying this strange planet. It's been brought to their attention, and now they're studying it.
Yep, that's what immediately caught my attention when I was cruising through Zimralla and working on a little bit of solo play myself. It's like, I want to play a curator and have some generator come up with the things I need to find in Zimralla somewhere.
Yeah, that would be great. We should definitely do that. And we're trying to expand out. The first solo was the Egyptos one, and what remains of the Egyptos Empire. And then this one, Jungle Jeopardy, is really very much a, we see the demons in the jungle because the last one was in the desert. So that gives it, we have totally different locales and different sets of enemies or species to meet. So
right. Well, and with the monsters, I guess you could call it universe now. It seems now I haven't seen anything about this, and I know nothing, but I know you're involved. The Arabor campaign setting, it looks massive, and I believe that's going to be more of your typical classical fantasy from what I see. I don't know though.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, that was made by John Burgett, and he did an amazing job with the book. We kind of overlooked it, and I did some work on some of the maps for him, and I did the cover and back cover of the book for him. But really, that was his project, and he did an amazing job with it. And hats off to him for that. So
now is that available yet, or is it still coming?
No, you can get that as a PDF on drive-through or buy it.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm going to link everything we talk about here so that anybody in the Army, they hear something they like, they can easily find it. So that's what I was asking. I'll have to check that out myself. Now, I didn't know it had been released. I saw I've been so busy in the studio. I don't get on Facebook too often other than just checking on the group and stuff. But I seen the post over in the group of a few months ago, and it was still coming. So I'm glad to hear it's out. I'll have to go grab it.
Yeah, Arabor is actually a printed hardback, so you can buy it as a POD as well, and it's beautiful.
That's my jam. I don't care for PDFs.
Right. Yeah.
And nothing against PDFs. It's, as a miniature painter, I'm sitting here this close to something all day long. I don't want to pick up a screen and hold it up either for some reason. My eyes, it plays weird with my eyes.
Well, so I guess if you want, did you want to ask Matt anything else? I know there was.
We've got 1,000 questions to ask you. We went in a little bit about the Egyptos and City of the Gods. When we're going to get our third novel, Steve? You and Deborah's got to give it to me.
I know. We're 3/4 of the way through with it, and I keep getting pulled into things. Other projects keep coming up that have to. Oh, this has got to be done right away. So the other big one I haven't mentioned yet is, well, there's a couple, but the one that people know about is the Grimtooth Traps thing. So they just announced that that's going to be out. I guess they're going to launch that in about 60 days from this date.
Okay, and I've got some questions. That's the one from Goodman Games, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Because I love when you did Trapsylvania with them. I love that.
That was a
Great
beautiful
campaign
project.
setting. I love Grimtooth though. Now, previously they just sort of reprinted the original books of Grimtooth, and then we
Yeah.
got the campaign setting. So, what can we expect with this one? With you don't have to go in too much detail, just in a general idea of what to expect with the next Grimtooth release.
Well, I think the description they have on their website sort of sums it up. They're going to take the best traps from the books and stat them. I think it's 150 traps is what they said. So they're going to stat out in two different versions. It's going to be a big, thick hardback. I know that. And it's going to be, they're going to stat out the best traps, the ones they think are usable. And then they have me, I'm going to illustrate and design some additional traps that are going to go in the back section of the book. So that's going to be part of the project as well. So an expansion, I'll probably, I'm leaning towards wanting to make it one adventure that has these 10 traps, but that's still something where I think they're going to reach out to the fans and see what they want and stuff. So we'll see.
Okay, and when you said they're going to stat them, that's for the Dungeon Crawl Classics?
Correct. I think they may even be doing it for something else too. I'm not exactly sure, but they may have double stats. I
Okay,
think.
I know normally they'll do it like Dungeon Crawl Classics, then they do it for 5e or something as well.
Yeah,
but
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
okay. Well, I
Yeah,
don't think
so
too many 5e players hang out here, but we definitely got some DCC fans.
there you go. Well, count me as one of them. They're great guys to work with. I've had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned it briefly, but there is a Cthulhu Crisis 2 coming, and you sent me the first comic for Christmas. In my Christmas package. I'm not even a comic person, but I absolutely love that one. So I'm excited to hear that news.
Yeah, well, look, I don't usually talk about my comics with gamers, but I have good reason to do so today. This is the cover to the first one. I'll show here just because Cthulhu Crisis. So we did this book, I don't know, a year or two ago, whatever it was, and we're working on another one, but it's more of a standalone. And one of the great things that we realize is a lot of the same things and some of the same characters that are appearing in this book also appear in their Zimralla books, the Monsters books. And so the idea evolved is, hey, what if we put a game adventure in the back of the comic book so that you'd read about the characters and the monsters in the book, and then you could actually run an adventure using those characters and locations from the comic. And I don't know that anyone's ever done this with a comic book before. Maybe somebody has, but certainly nobody I know has. So we think it's going to be really exciting. I've got a bunch of art from that. So the really great thing about this is that a bunch of the characters in this comic book are already in Zimralla as we speak. And of course, the main ones being Tenmer and Sekhmet. Sekhmet, the cat goddess, and Tenmer, the demoness. So they're already in the book. They're already in Zimralla, and they're also in this comic. They appear in a couple of stories. Well, actually, Tenmer appears throughout the book as in various places. So, and then there's a nice good deal of monsters. We get to see some interesting monsters in the book. Here's 3 of them here that Tenmer and Sekhmet meet in hell. And we get to see a nice battle scene. It's kind of fun. The nice thing about a comic book, as opposed to like a regular illustrated book, is that you actually get to see the characters, fighting and slight cutting, and so it makes it kind of more. In a way, it's like role playing, only you're reading about a role playing adventure as it's happening.
Right.
And then there's a bunch of new characters. Like I say, this kind of is standalone. You don't need to buy Cthulhu Crisis 1. We're going to make sure that it's an introductory book for new readers, especially since we're going to have the GM stuff. And we know a lot of people are going to buy this because they want to see a real cool new Monsters adventure that's not just multi universal, but also multi-genre. There's a lot of different genre stuff going on here in this book. There's stuff in modern day. There's things that take place in the 1870s, and then there's stuff kind of in ancient times. So it kind of allows gamers to see monsters sort of in 3 different time zones. Um,
I absolutely love it. Like I said, I'm not even a real big comic fan, but I absolutely love the first issue of Cthulhu Crisis.
oh, well, good. You're gonna love this. It's
Oh
the
yeah.
three main heroines are in it. It stars Erica America, who is a Native American sort of eternal hero who doesn't ever die or reincarnates, if you will. And then you've got Vampiruni, who of course is a vampire who's lived since ancient Egyptian times, which is part of her connection to Demi or Tenmer. And then you also get, Demi slash Tenmer, who also is effectively immortal, although she's not nearly as old as the other two characters. She's maybe she's a couple hundred years old, maybe. So,
Right.
so it's a Western story that it's very much like, I don't know if any of you guys remember the old Wild Wild West TV show.
Mm-hmm.
We basically wrote it. It's like a Wild Wild West episode, except instead of Artemis Gordon and James West, you have Erica America and Vampiruni. So kind of makes it fun that way. And it's the first time they meet, so it's kind of an origin story for those two characters' relationship. How did they meet? And so that's kind of what the setup for that story is going to be. And then there's a moth, Moonfry, who's a villainess. She's a half moth, half Mothman, half Cthulian character, and so, or half demoness. I'm sorry. And then there's also a squid girl who's half Cthulian and is also sort of met up with the curators, which are aliens. So she has some alien tech. So you get to see a real kind of weird mixing of genres that way as well. And then we have Ludolf von Crowley, who's our 1870s mastermind, and he's again he has his own secret lair in the Skinwalker Ranch area, and he's got a portal to Zimralla there, and he's got
Well,
plans.
I see that you're bringing in your love for American cryptozoology here as well.
Oh yeah, yep. We got Cthulhu's, we got Skinwalkers, we got so
Moth
got
people.
Mothmen. So yeah, we're bringing that all kind of into bear, and these are all things that again, can easily be incorporated into Zimralla, and in some respects already are. So that's what that's going to be about, and we think it's going to be really, just because it's going to be a really fun, different thing. And we're going to, after we get the Kickstarter done that we're working on now, the next Kickstarter we do is going to be for this comic, and it's going to be a small Kickstarter, not a big one, but it's going to be a really exciting, different kind of product, because no one's, I don't think, not that I know. I mean, I'm sure probably somebody has, but no one's done it in the Tunnels and Trolls related line, or the Monsters lines, where you've had a
Right, having the game material that follows along, with the comic you just read. That seems like such a natural marriage, and I've never seen it done before.
Doesn't it? I mean, it does. And in our case, it's particularly perfect because we've got a monsters games, and even our heroines, our main characters in this story are, you've got a demoness, you've got an Egyptian cat goddess, you've got a vampire, you've got a lot of characters that are already sort of monsters, so to speak. So, makes it fun that way. And this shows how you can be a hero.
Yeah, monsters, and Zimralla is a good place for all the monsters of the world.
Absolutely. So, and I'll be continuing to show the new art as it gets done up on Facebook. So, at the Monsters Tunnels and Trolls Facebook group, which I invite everybody to join. So,
oh yeah, definitely go check out the monster. There's quite a few different groups now for monsters, and a lot of different Flying Buffalo Incorporated games going on.
It's growing, yes.
Yeah, it's growing, but I think you're in all of them, keeping everybody informed. So, but definitely check out the one. What is it? It's Monsters. What's the
Tunnels and Trolls, Zimralla.
Yeah, it's got 1,000 names.
Yeah,
if you see one that starts with Monsters, and you see a whole bunch of names after it, that's the main group, I think.
Yeah. We're a big tent. What can I say?
There you go. And but yeah, I'm definitely excited. Like I said, the closest thing I can think to it is like with the Japanese TNT Adventures. They didn't have a sort of a story and gaming stuff. It had like a teach to play kind of thing going on with the comics.
Yes.
So yeah. So I'm really excited for this because you get the awesome story and everything, then you get the gaming material to go with. So
yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. It just makes for a really interesting experience. If this works, I'm sure we'll do more of these. There's so many possibilities we could do. So this is sort of an experiment and a completely new format for a role-playing book, and we'll see how that
Well,
goes.
I'm quite sure once they, especially those familiar with Cthulhu Crisis #1, they already know just how well made that one. I mean, it was beautiful.
Well,
I'm
thanks,
already
yeah.
sure though they're going to see this with the gaming material, and this is going to become probably just as popular as the solos were for like Tunnels and Trolls.
You never know. Like I said, it could be a whole new
I'd
ball
be,
game.
I would be willing to bet on it because, like I said, this is just too natural of a thing that I've never seen personally. You know.
That's my hope. That's my hope. So we'll find out. We'll find out. So as that gets closer, we'll make announcements about how that's when we get closer to it being ready. In the
That's it.
meantime,
That's
you guys
why.
have the. Oh,
That's
sorry.
why I've heard people call you the hardest working man in the industry.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is. I do work hard, but I'm sure there's other people
Oh,
working.
oh my goodness. You've been so busy lately. Like I said, I can't even keep up with you, and I follow you.
Thanks. I try. It's you just don't have any other life, and then you get lots of work done that way.
There we go. If you can, let's take the screen share thing off, and we'll get back to our normal size selves here with a little bigger screen.
Sorry about that. There we go.
No problem. We're here to talk about things. I guess they'd probably be better if they couldn't even see us, huh?
Well, certainly there's days I feel that way.
Yeah, that's it. It's but they've got to put up with us anyways. But there's so many projects going on. It's sort of mind-boggling. So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to grab all the links I can to everything we've talked about so far and drop them below. That way, if you're interested in any of this stuff, definitely check it out. Definitely follow Steve on Facebook. Look him up, Steve Crompton. He's got the hat on there. You're going to see the profile picture.
Although my profile picture, I have the beard. I recently the beard is gone now. So
yeah, I sort of missed the beard though. You got to come back to the bearded club.
I know. Well, maybe who knows? It may return. You never know.
That's it. If you are a wrestler, we'll say you turned babyface. You got to get back to being heels like the rest of us.
There you go. Hardly a babyface at this point, but thanks.
That's it. It's now. Did we have anything else that was coming up soon?
I think that's a pretty good batch for this trip, right?
I'd be willing to bet there's more coming up soon, but you're not ready to spill the beans yet, huh?
Well, we have another big surprise with the Kickstarter that we're doing. Ken and I are doing, which should be launched in the next week or two. But
oh wow, that fast!
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, we're just waiting for one piece of paper and then we can hit launch basically. So we'll have a cool surprise with that too, but I'm not going to announce that until the time comes. So
there you go. And once the Kickstarter goes live, we'll definitely post something over here so people can find that. I know I'm all in though, because you guys. I don't do Kickstarters a lot because you never know what you're really going to get. But with you and Ken, Flying Buffalo, any of the people associated with you, I'm always already in because I know it's going to be better than what was first expected.
We try. I mean, it's sad because you see a lot of these things that don't, people get these Kickstarters and get all these money and then they never do anything, and that's. We've got a proven track record. We've done them, and
that's
all
it.
Been fulfilled.
Well, that's exactly why I don't promote a lot of Kickstarters on the show because, hey, I don't want my name associated with something that it was a money grab and they just took the money and ran. No way.
Yeah, it's really sad to see some of those. Sometimes it's just bad luck on their part or whatever, but sometimes outright scamming. So I'm glad we do not have that problem. So
that's it. Well, I'm really excited to see what's coming out, and I've got to go check out Arabor. I didn't know it was already out, so it's
it is.
But I'm excited. It's too much news coming out at one time for me. I'm overloaded.
Well, thank you so much, Death Stalker 5. Really appreciate the time and chance. It's always great to chat with you. And
oh, you're always welcome here. You've been a part of you're basically a general in the Random Encounter Army, and you didn't even know it.
There you go. We'll still have to do a cryptozoology one of these days. That'll be fun.
We're going to do that. We've been talking about that for a year because you love it. I love getting into cryptozoology and mythology and folklore and stuff. So it's a natural thing. We're going to have to do it. Maybe we'll do a big long one for Halloween or something. I don't know.
That would be good. That's a great idea.
Something to give people something to look forward to.
All right, great.
And around my parts, it might be possible I catch something here that we can show live, a specimen.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for that swamp gas stuff. I'm sure something will show up.
Yeah, well, I go out to Walmart about once a week. Almost every week I see something we could bring on here for cryptozoology.
There you go. Keep an eye out for the skunk ape or any of those. Well, you probably don't get too many Tasmanian devils in your parts.
That's it. Depends on their substance abuse levels.
Yeah.
But absolutely love having you coming on the show. You're always welcome here. You're a big friend of the show. And I know the Random Encounter Army, like I said, they're glad to hear and see somebody other than my ugly mug on the table around here every week.
Well, glad to be here. And I really appreciate it, Death Stalker 5. And we'll definitely do it again whenever you're ready.
Okay, and we definitely look forward to all of your projects. And I don't know, like I said, I just can't wait.
All right. Well, thanks. I'll try not to keep you waiting too long.
Okay, Steve, we'll see you soon back on the Random Encounter show.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And thanks, Death Stalker 5. See you on YouTube.
Okay. Hey, this is Death Stalker 5. I wanted to thank you for watching the Random Encounter show. If you love tabletop gaming, solo RPGing, or classic video games, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. If you want more of the show, head over to our channel's About page. There you will find our Facebook and Facebook group pages where you can join in on the fun. Want to help support the show? Make sure to use our affiliate and sponsor links next time you're shopping for your favorite gaming products. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time when we roll for Random Encounter.